Okay, I walked on out to my post office box and I got something from somebody, so I'm going to open it up. I think I recognize who it is. It's my professor friend, I think. Cute. Have a perfect Christmas. Isn't that cute? Ah, he sent me $5. Yep, it's my professor friend. Thank you. Let's see what he says. Dear Gail, I was very sorry to hear of your loss. I'll definitely send positive thoughts and energy your way, referring to my mother. Yes, but my mother got right the last day of her life and she was a narcissist, so I'm really happy for her. Here's hoping 2023 brings you much happiness and well-being. Take care, my friend. Love, blessings, and light. Professor SLLVCH. Warm wishes for a wonderful holiday season. Oh, my Band-Aid just got caught on his card. And 2023. There you go. See that? Yeah, that's very nice. So, thank you very much. And thank you, yeah, I appreciate that. So, this has been an interesting week. I have started a new hobby, bus riding. Yeah, as you all know, I don't have a car, so I'll just put this right over. Oh, you know what? I need to put this up here. Well, I have Christmas cards from last year up here. I've got birthday cards. You know what? I forgot to bring, you know what? I could go get the, yeah, I got something here. What did I do with it? I think it's in here. I gotta find my little push pins. Here they are. Okay, a push pin. So I'm gonna put his card up there. He said, you got cards from last year? Yeah, I'm gonna leave them up there since I've got room. So I'll go ahead and put his card right there. That's cute. Yeah, right there. There. Have a perfect Christmas. So, yeah, I've been studying Lizzo, who I believe is the Antichrist, and I have some posts at my website about her. And I caught myself. I've concluded. I think she has BPD, and she keeps giving me amnesia about what that means. It's a personality disorder, a cluster B personality disorder. Though I have to be careful with the labels. It's BPD. She does this to me. Well, anyways, basically, I think she had fears of abandonment growing up. And unfortunately, I'm guessing on this, but I think she is Satan's lover. Yeah. I've been studying BPD to try to figure out, because I was thinking, how could she get so fat? And why is she so defensive about it? I mean, yeah, I don't understand. And well, just go to my website. I put my conclusions there. And yeah, I've noticed something about myself though, and she's giving me mite infections. It's a little better than yesterday, but it makes it a little hard for me to talk because I have a mite infection from her and her Jesuits, one on the tip of my tongue and one towards the back, and it makes it a little hard to talk, though I'm able to do my walk videos, but and it could be a little bit of brain control. Her brain control is horrible, and my thumb is doing very well. I actually don't need to wear a Band-Aid today, but I got these cool knuckle Band-Aids, and I just wanted to try them out. And then I got some antibiotic ointment that helps with preventing scars. I'm actually healing very well. This happened to me on Christmas Eve. You all saw the injury. And yeah, I don't have any trouble at all making love to my husband. Though I am a little asexual, so it's like, I don't really need a whole bunch of it to be happy. And he's always humping on me, and my vagina is always available to him. But basically, a big problem that I've had since Lizzo has become the Antichrist, a big problem that I've had in 2023 is that it seems like is the brain control. She is a brain control monster. That seems to be her specialty. And it's just, apparently the Jesuits and Satan determined that in my current location I have financial security. And when I lived in Florida, their goal was to get me homeless. And they came pretty close to it many times. But now that I'm in a different location and I do have pretty much financial security here, the only way they can get me now is with brain control, kind of like what happened to Brent. Remember when Lizzo was at the Christmas party and he was going to get in his Metcha Gail suit and attack her and kick her out, and then his phone rang and he picked it up and he fell under her brain control. The same thing happened to me at the end of August. I checked my phone, and then I felt like I got under a spell. And there was this Indian guy from this scam artist on the phone, and he kept telling me that he was trying to protect my financial interest, that there was an unauthorized charge, and I should have known better, but I couldn't hang up on him. I was like I was under a spell. And I've noticed that I haven't had a phone for quite a while, for a couple months. And I think maybe Buddha might be part of the reason. He might have advised my men not to let me have one, because I think she has technology now where if she calls you on the phone, she can put you under a spell, under her brain control. So she's really horrible. I mean, this is, yeah, it's really horrifying. So I'm doing everything I can to keep my Gail shield strong. Yeah, I am in a very good financial situation right now. Well, the Gail Commandments is to only spend money on food and bills, and I only spend money outside of that when I check with my men first, or if it's something that I obviously need, and I let them know about it and they don't object. Like I had a mattress pad that covers my foam for my bed, and it had rips in it. It was like 15 years old, so I walked to Walmart and bought a new one. And my shower curtains were old and had mold on them, the liner, so I figured it's time to replace it. So yeah, that's fine. But let me give you an example of where I will not spend the money. Like in my current computer, I do not have a DVD drive, okay? It's not an emergency. But the other day, there are places in town that I could go to by bus to buy a USB type of DVD drive that you can plug it into the computer. Though I'm not sure if it would work with Linux Ubuntu, but it's not an emergency, and because I hardly ever use that function anymore, I'm not going to be making that purchase unless I clear it with my men first. That's an example. Plus, in the past, when I've made computer purchases, usually Jesus didn't want me to. So, yeah, I remember that. So, nope. I don't want to do anything to make the universe unhappy so that my Gail shield weakens. Yeah, no. So, no DVD drive. So that's kind of like how I decide. Like if it's pretty obvious that it's okay that I need it, like if my... another thing that I think is going to be okay is I celebrated New Year's Eve with my black supporters, and they told me to dress up. And I noticed, so I wore pants and a kind of nice dressy top, and the shoes that I had to wear, I didn't have any knee highs to wear with it, and it's the type of shoes that you don't want to be wearing athletic socks. So I ended up wearing athletic socks with these kind of dressy flats. The same dressy flats that I wore for Tasho when I appeared on them. In fact, I bought them in California at a Target out there. Yeah, when I was out there in California, when I flew out there because they paid for me to fly out there from Florida, I walked out to the Target and bought me the dressy flats. And they're very nice. But the problem is, at that time I had knee highs. But I ended up throwing out all my knee highs because they were so old, they were sagging down my legs and they weren't holding up, you know. So I'd forgot that I had done that. So, oh, the mice are making me cough. So I've decided when I visit a store, you know, that sells knee highs, and if they sell the kind I like, it'll probably be okay for me to buy some more. Simply because if I have another situation where I'm asked to dress up for like a special occasion and make a video, and I don't have knee high, or even if I wanted to go out someplace and dress up a little bit, I don't have knee highs to wear with my dressy shoes. I mean, there are some shoes you do not wear athletic socks with, so yeah, I think that'd be okay. So that's kind of like the way I can tell whether it's okay. And I brought it up to my men, and they haven't objected, so apparently that's okay. And like one time, Brent said it was okay for me to order some seaweed online. I'm also not allowed to order stuff online without clearing with them first, probably for security reasons. I have noticed that Lizzo, Antichrist Lizzo, is very good at getting your information and trying to commit identity theft against you. I mean, she's even using brain control. In fact, I just got something from my psychiatrist in Florida, and they said that they themselves were a victim of some scam or something, or there was a breach, and they warned me and told me to be careful. So I'm thinking, wow, it's like she's really good at doing this. So you might say, how are you getting along without a phone? I actually never used my phone that much, so I'm getting along fine without a phone. Amazing. I don't think I've had one for like 2 or 3 months. And my men just said they'll take care of it. Yeah, so yeah, I'm thinking it's probably because if I get on the phone, I might get a repeat of what happened to me in August. Some scam artists may call me on the phone, get all my information. Yeah, I'm already, I filed a report with Equifax, I think, and some of the credit reporting agencies, and let them know that I got scammed in August, and it was because I fell under the brain control. She's got some sort of brain control where if she calls you on the phone, I mean, look what happened to Brent. So you might say, what would you say to us? I would say if you don't need to use your phone, don't use it. To be honest with you, I was born in 1957, and I never got a cell phone really until about 2003. Yeah, and I was fine. I had a landline in the 1990s, and with the landline, I used to, that was when Brent had a wiretap on my phone. What I love about landlines, I mean, I haven't had one of them in so long, because after the divorce, I no longer had a landline, because I couldn't afford a landline and a cell phone both. So I decided just to have a cell phone alone. Yeah, in the 1990s, I had a landline phone, and I found that if I dialed my own number, I would get a blank on it, and because Brent had a wiretap on my phone, I could talk to him for hours on end on the phone. Yeah, on the landline. You can't do that with cell phones. One advantage of a landline. I'm not sure if the landlines today are like that, but back then, in the 1990s, they were. So yeah, I've been getting along without a phone, and I'm finding that it does help me not to become obsessive. And as I mentioned in a previous video, I feel that all forms of obsession feed the evil forces. And Buddha said a way to get over obsessions is to visit new places. So I've taken up a bus riding hobby. I've gotten to know the bus routes in my area very well, and I take my camera with me because I have a Patreon where I feature my walk videos every day, and they're getting to experience all the new places that I'm going to. Today I went to the Botanical Gardens again, my second time, and I'm able to go to the Asian store and get a lot of Asian food, which I like. And I used to go, and not having a car, there is a grocery store within walking distance from me. But the problem is it's too much of the same. And I need to kind of like change up my scenery, visit new places to help me to be present. I think the reason that visiting new places helps me not to give way to obsessions is because it helps me to be present when I am in a new place, and I'm more aware of my surroundings simply because it's new. So today when I went to the Botanical Gardens, I went to a different section of it that I hadn't been before. And the grocery store that I go to, I've thoroughly explored that grocery store. I know it in and out. There is a Walmart Supercenter near me, which I've been to several times. I mean, it's like a 40-minute walk. I can also, what I do with that one is I will take the bus. Usually the bus only goes every hour going out there, but I will take the bus one way to go there, and then on the way back I usually walk because I don't want to wait for the bus. And then I get my exercise. Because I've noticed another problem that I've had here is that I have more of a tendency to gain weight. And I think that may have to do with the fact that Lizzo is overweight. She's actually obese. And she's jealous of me because I'm obviously not obese, and she seems to think obese is hot. Yeah, I think that Satan is making love to her simply because he thinks that way he can ensure her loyalty. Because I can't imagine Satan making love to her. You got to remember, Satan himself can change forms, okay? Like, he has appeared to us in several forms. In 2012, when he showed up, he appeared kind of like a reptile. Kind of like the Satan on, I forget that show. She's giving me amnesia about everything, man. But yeah, he can appear as a reptile. He can appear in his Adonis form, where he looks like an angel and has blonde curly hair and has six-pack abs and everything. So he can change his form, and I believe that he can do the same with his Antichrist. So Lizzo, he might have got her loyalty by saying, "Hey Lizzo, I think you're discriminated against because you're fat, but I can solve that problem for you. Besides that," he probably said, "I think you're hot." And she probably thought, "What?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, he probably showed her a mirror and said, "Here's what you look like to me." And in the mirror, she saw what she looked like, maybe with a figure, a model figure. She does have a pretty face. I will say that much for her. So if she lost weight, she would be hot, okay? If only she had some inner beauty, which she does not, okay? So yeah, I think she is making love to him in a hot body, simply because he transformed her body into a hot one to have sex with her. And that's how he got her loyalty. That's my theory. I wouldn't die over this, but the reason I suspect it is because I suggested to my men that we create an automaton of Luther Vandross. Okay, he passed away around 2005. He also had weight issues, and I suggested that we make him a clinical psychologist as well as all the musical talent that he had, and that he should play that song that he sung, "The Impossible Dream," to her, and use that as the opening for every psychological session that he has with her. And I don't know if my men acted on it or not, but I think they tried. And her reaction to it made me really suspect that something else was going on, because because I do think she suffered from BPD, but I think currently it's a mix now. I think she's a mix between a psychopath and BPD, because Satan got involved, and he's basically turned her into a psychopath. What I noticed though is when we did that, her response was my mite infections got worse and the brain control was still as bad as ever. So I thought, you know what? And then I noticed I started getting obsessed about treating her BPD, and I was willing to forgive her and maybe lay off on using the lightning bolts and sling stones from my Gail Shield on her. And I thought, wait a minute. If she's really interested in getting better, why is she still giving me mite infections on my tongue? Why is she still using brain control? And I thought, something's not right here. And why am I all of a sudden so obsessed with no longer wanting to launch military attacks on her, to take out her military and to punish her for being evil? And I noticed I was going online and getting really obsessed about searching up on BPD. And I thought, wait a minute, you're getting into an obsession here. So I thought, aha, you need to stop this right now. Because every time I get into an obsession, it's coming from Satan. And then as soon as I made that decision to quit obsessing about BPD, I noticed that I started seeing her a little clearly. And I Skyped my men and said, you know what? I think I know what's going on with her. You know why our Luther Vandross automaton is not working? It's because she's making love to Satan. Our Luther Vandross automaton has to compete with an Adonis Satan as her lover. So apparently she thinks she's found the cure to her BPD. She no longer worries about being dumped, which is an obsession that people with BPD have. And because I think she considers Satan her husband. So I told my men, you know what, I need to continue to use my Gail Shield to take out her military and shoot the lightning bolts and the sling stones, because basically what she's doing is she wants my guard to go down and for me to quit attacking her military so she can launch a fatal thrust and just take us out once and for all when our guard is down. So I've been going back on, and I said, if I'm right that she's making love to Satan, our Luther Vandross automaton is like a joke to her. She doesn't think she needs any help. Satan has convinced her she's hot just the way she is. Plus, I wouldn't be surprised if he's promised her a super hot body for eternity as a reward for her faithful service. Anyways, that's what I think's going on with her. You might say, do you think there's any way to reach her? Not if Satan's making love to her and she's enjoying it. See, Lori McBride and Satan were making love to each other, but Lori didn't enjoy it because Satan started beating her up. Yeah. So, I don't think Satan's beating up this one, because he likes everything she does. You say, why was Satan beating her up? She was, I probably better not go here, but yeah, Satan was starting to beat her up, because I think he could tell that she was not completely happy with him as a lover. Yeah. Whereas, so Satan said, I know how I can find a lover who will be happy with me. Get a fat one. She will be eternally grateful that somebody as hot as me wants to make love to her. And yeah, he was right. It seems to have worked. Yeah, I used my Gail Shield on both of them. I said, go beat them up for making love with each other and encouraging each other to be evil. Yeah. So anyways, yeah. But I got to tell you something. I am committed to going out and visiting new places. And even with that commitment, and I have been going out, I'd say at least 4 days a week, weather permitting, I'm going to a new place, taking the bus, going to new stores, like I'm not grocery shopping at the same store all the time. I'm going to different stores. Like one day I went to Publix, another day I'll go to the Walmart Supercenter, another day I went to Whole Foods, and I'm learning which stores have what I like. Today I went to the Asian store on the way back from as I walked back from the botanical garden. And yeah, the Jesuits are not happy that I'm doing this, and they're trying to make my walks uncomfortable. Today on the bus, it was packed like sardines. And normally it's not like that. It's not like, there's no reason for it to be packed like sardines. This is January the 5th. I mean, what major holiday is right now, right? You see what I'm saying? So I told my men, I think we need to deal with these Jesuits that are obviously boarding the bus. And yeah, like the bus stopped today, and somebody asked the bus driver, is the next bus route after you going to be a bus route number 4? And he said, obviously. That's the bus that always comes after me. He stopped the bus at the bus stop just to ask the bus driver a question. Had to be a Jesuit. And the bus driver seemed kind of aggravated, like, you flagged me down just for this? Oh my goodness. And then we had one bus stop where about 9 people boarded the bus, and then it was packed like sardines. It was never like that in December when I rode the bus. So yeah, Lizzo's thinking, oh no, she's getting on the bus and going to new places, and that's keeping the Gail Shield really strong. I can't have this. Yeah, Zach noticed that whenever I went to new places, the Gail Shield stayed really strong. So yeah, she doesn't like that. Yeah. So she really seems obsessed with causing me to do things that weaken the Gail Shield. Yeah. Anyways, so I am determined to do all I can to make sure my Gail Shield stays strong. And oh yeah, for a while there, YouTube took down the video from MRZ Parker for my New Year's Eve service, but it's back up there, and you can check it out at my website. I have it embedded there, and it's called, oh, she's giving me amnesia about the name of her channel. Anyway, just check the link underneath this video. Yeah, the brain control is horrible. But anyways, yeah, my thumb is healing very nicely. I actually didn't need to wear a Band-Aid, and it's amazing because it was a very deep cut on Christmas Eve, and I'm trying to be careful as I go about my apartment that I don't do things, that could injure me, but it's kind of hard when you're a brain control victim. But yeah, I'm committed to visiting new places. I know when I lost use of my car in the beginning of March because Baphomet ejaculated in all the holes of my car basically and totally destroyed the engine, the brakes, and anything that had fluid in it. Yeah. It's kind of like a waste of time for me to get a car. Fortunately, because I mean, the car was in good shape. It drove me from Florida to here, and it would. If I get a new car, the Jesuits could destroy it within a month if Baphomet's still active. Yeah. So anyway, fortunately, I'm able to get around really good by bus, and I've really gotten to know them really well, and so I'm able to visit. There are several. I'm committed to going to several different stores to keep it fresh, so I can overcome my obsessions. There are like 4 Walmarts that I can visit. One's walking distance, sort of walking distance, but by bus there's like 3 Walmart supercenters that I could go to, and there is 1 Walmart neighborhood market. So like I'm going to change it up. Like tomorrow I might end up going to a different Walmart supercenter than one I normally go to. There is one Publix near me that I can go to. There's a Whole Foods that I can go to. I love the Whole Foods. It reminds me of the stores in the grocery stores in Seattle when I lived there. There is an Asian store that I can go to. There's also another Asian store that I'm going to consider visiting. There is a Target that I could go to as well. It's been a while since I've been there, but that also has a grocery store. So this is how I can change it up and just keep going to different places to shop. There are several restaurants that I can go to, just to change it up and I have dates, and Brent goes with me everywhere. So yeah, this is how I'm keeping myself from obsessions, is I visit new places all the time. That was what Buddha recommended. And and basically my Gail Schuler stays strong when I go to new places, do things I enjoy, and stay peaceful, thankful, and happy. Yeah. And so that's what I'm focused on. And of course I do try to do the Gail commandments, all the Gail commandments. Yeah, M.R.G. Parker, for our New Year's Eve service, we really went deep into all this stuff. And we talked about Lizzo, and she was mentioning how the blacks do not like Lizzo. Lizzo, I do believe she suffered from BPD, and Satan offered her a solution. She's basically like a heroin addict, and Satan is giving her heroin. Yeah. I do believe she has BPD, and borderline, that's it, borderline personality disorder. And I think she's, when you read the lyrics to her songs, I would not listen to the music. I think she uses the music to put brain control on you. But when you read the lyrics to her music, it indicates somebody who's got issues with abandonment. And I think she got to the point where she just dumps the guy in advance, expecting him to dump her. Yeah. And she tells herself that she doesn't give a damn. But she most certainly does. She has a lot of rage, or she did, that she felt like nobody would keep her, that they would all dump her just because she was fat. And I think it was like a vicious cycle with her. She ate to comfort herself, so she ate food as like comfort food. And yeah, because of, I think she was fighting off depression all the time, even to the point maybe of thinking suicide, because of the fact that she was so fat and felt like everybody would dump her. And she was fat. Now, I'm not a doctor. I mean, she might have had underlying diabetes. Who knows? That can contribute to overweight. But the amount of obesity that she has, I do believe that a lot of it was she just used food as comfort. And she became addicted to eating food. She had a food addiction. And that's why we created the Luther Vandross automaton, because he had the same problem. And I actually have a video at my website that talks about that embedded. They made a documentary about that. And her response to that has been pathetic. So I thought, she doesn't really care about getting better. She is owning her BPD. I don't even know if she admits she has it. People with that disorder, borderline personality disorder, tend to project their own problems onto others anyways. So she probably thinks I have it. To be honest with you, I might have had a very mild case of it as a young lady. And I actually felt empathy for her for a while. Because when I was young, I had obsessions about being dumb too. And I always felt like I had to be perfect. And I thought, so let's create a lover for her. And Luther Vandross, I mean, his voice is like velvet. He's a fellow musician. It didn't seem to faze her. She didn't stop being evil. She kept attacking us. And I thought, she's getting her needs met somewhere that our Luther Vandross automaton is not even facing her. And that's when I concluded, I bet Satan's making love to her. He looks like an Adonis, folks. Yeah, he looks like an Adonis. Or he can, in one of his forms. If he's making love to her in his Adonis form, that explains everything. Yeah. Yeah, she probably figures, he will never dump me, as long as I remain evil. It's really sad. So Satan has found somebody with borderline personality disorder who has a deep fear of being dumped. And, I mean, Satan himself has been dumped. He was dumped by, I actually think he himself might have borderline personality disorder. He was dumped by Laurie McBride, by Zach Knight, Angelina Ballerina. In that case, she was just defeated. So I think he himself may have it. He's been dumped a couple times himself. So now he's found his kindred spirit. Yeah. The problem is, though, this heroin addict, this Lizzo, is very deadly right now. Because in order to keep her lover, Satan, she has to be evil. And Satan loves to murder, and he loves being evil right now. And he's obsessed with me. So he thinks once he takes me out, evil's going to win on planet Earth. He considers me a very powerful leader here. So yeah, it's so I'm doing everything I can to help out the side of good by keeping my Gail shield strong, visiting new places, and doing the Gail commandments, and trying not to be obsessed about anything. But a lot of this is brain control. And so I'm just listening to Buddha, following his advice. He said, stay present, stay thankful, have meditation time every day. The days when when the weather's bad and I can't go out and ride the bus or go to a new place, then I make sure to have meditation time. I will sip some tea, like if it's cold outside or snowing or something, sip some tea and enjoy the warmth of my place in contrast to the beauty of the coldness outside. And I try to have a thankful, peaceful spirit. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm doing to try to beat the brain control and my tendency to be obsessive. And I think the brain control is not helping with that. So yeah, that's what I've been doing this week. I've been exploring all sorts of fun new places. And my Patreon supporters get to watch all my daily walk videos where I go to all these new places. Yeah, when I first didn't have my car, I thought that I was stuck only going to one grocery store because there was only one that was walking distance. But now that I've learned how to use the bus, I'm going all over town to shop for my food, and I'm having a blast. Yeah, it's fun. And I'm getting to know all these different stores. Yeah. The only thing is, even though I like the grocery store I go at, they don't have sushi, and they don't have some of the Asian food that I like. So now and they usually don't carry bok choy or napa. So now that I can go to Publix and Walmart Supercenter and Whole Foods, I can get some of these other foods. So yeah, I'm learning that wherever you are, whatever path you're destined to be on, there will be a way for you to stay on that path if you are really determined. So yeah. So my path is to keep my Gail shield strong, do the Gail commandments, though I think that's everybody's path to do the Gail commandments, and to help me keep the Gail shield strong. So yeah, let's not get obsessed over things. Let's do the Gail commandments and be thankful and have meditation, go explore new places, and yeah, and you can check out my website to get a really in-depth analysis of what I think is going on with Lizzo. I think I came up with some pretty brilliant conclusions about what makes her tick. Yeah, I've been really studying BPD. I think it's okay to study it, but I was getting a little obsessed, so I'm going to kind of get away from that. But it is kind of helpful to know what was driving her in the past. I don't think she is a pure case of BPD, borderline personality disorder. She's got several things going on. She definitely has that going on, but I think she also has some antisocial personality disorder problems too. Yeah, like maybe psychopathy or sociopathy. So though the psychiatrists say they don't separate between those two, but yeah, she definitely has some antisocial traits. And making love to Satan all the time. I think she did have a food addiction, but now that she started making love to Satan, she now has a sex addiction to the devil himself. which means she's extremely dangerous. Anyways, so I had to make my walk video. Thank you so much for the Christmas card. I appreciate it. And let's all do the Gail commandments, visit new places, and stay thankful, at peace, and just remember, goodness is going to win.